So hello and welcome to another beer review. Today's beer we're going to go for is by Magic Hat Brewing Company. Now, Magic Hat are kind of interesting because these are one of the first breweries that I got told about when I started getting into craft beer. Mainly because Magic Rock from just down the road in Huddersfield kind of have the same sort of style, this kind of funkadelic American style. This in particular is their number 9 beer, which is not quite a pale ale, or so they say. If I can hold that up, not quite a pale ale. So I'm assuming it's an American pale ale, but probably a little bit darker than the normal. And I've never tried anything by Magic Hat, but from people that I speak to, they do like Magic Hat. They like the kind of quirky style, and yeah, why the heck not? Saw this in it was a ginger ale trail. Told me about try to go to Rhythm and Booze, just a kind of chain alcohol store really, and apparently they have good stuff in, and lo and behold, yeah they do. There's some really good beers in actually, which I'll get around to trying over the next few days. Speaking of which, I quite like their cap on. Quite like their cap. It's quite a funky little one. In fact, look, if you spin it, it'll hypnotise you. So pour it out into a nice glass and see what we get. Yeah, good level of carbonation going there. I see, not quite a pale ale. It certainly looks pale to me. It's slightly deeper amber than I guess you'd normally get, and there's a tiny little kind of twinge of tan on the head as well. But that's quite cool. It's a nice, thick, fluffy head, and it's sticking around and it's lacing like crazy, which is a sign of a good beer, I always find. Nice level of carbonation on the inside of the glass as well, which is always good. So let's get our nose and then give it a smell. Oh yeah, it's a citrus bomb. Very typical American pale ale style, if I do say so myself. Smells quite, one of the 3 C's, probably cascadey or something like that. Very grapefruity. Very, very grapefruity in fact. And kind of a nice sweet, it smells quite dank. Quite, quite wet hops, like a really dense flavour. Dense citrusy flavour, and I can almost smell like a little bit of sweet caramel and the back of the nose as well. So without further ado, let's get in there and give it a try. Good classic American pale ale with, well, apparently not so classic. Let's give it a try. Cheers. Ooh, that is quite interesting. Okay, I'll just go for another drink. Huh. It's a lot more malty than I was expecting it to be. It's a really pronounced malt flavour in this. The hops almost play a second fiddle. You definitely get the grapefruity hops through at the end. You definitely get a nice level of bitterness. But the mainstay is a really nice, chunky, almost English-style malt profile. Would be very interested to see what malts they do actually use. A nice quotient of Marisotto, I would think. It's got this typical English ale style biscuit, wheaty sort of like chunk to it, just a body, and it's got a very quite thick mouthfeel. I'd almost say a thick mouthfeel. It's definitely a medium heavy mouthfeel. It just feels very dense in the mouth. And the carbonation is really, really strong as well. It kind of, you drink it and it almost turns to foam in the mouth. It almost kind of froths right up. I quite like that mouthfeel. You might have seen it with the Omnipollo Leon on my birthday, and that had the same sort of thing, but that was champagne yeast, I'm sure, so hence why it exploded. This, I'm assuming, must be an English ale yeast that they're using to try and get this less estery flavours. The smell is totally American, but the flavour is much more English in profile. And you know what? It's really good. It's a very, very pleasant pale ale. I would say an English style pale ale, which is interesting considering it's American. But that's cool. Hey, can't complain at all. Very nice beer. Yeah, I can see why they probably say it's not quite a pale ale. It's almost like an English bitter, I suppose. Almost like a good English bitter. I like it a lot actually. It's not a completely knockout, and I've definitely tried it before. Oh, actually, it says on the cap as well. All we need is humble patience. If the camera will focus on it. Yeah, I reckon this is a good 8 out of 10. It's very good, very pleasant, extremely drinkable, and I once again forgot the ABV. Always forget it. 5.1. Very drinkable indeed, considering it's 5.1. I would say it's a 4.8 max sort of English bitter style, but no. Very pleasant, very, very drinkable. Got a good, nice chunky malt body in profile. The hop flavour is a little bit diminished, more than, to my palate, I like hops to be a little bit more present. I guess I've got a more of an American pale ale style taste myself, and the carbonation is just a little bit funky. Kind of tiny little bit too frothy for my liking, but still very competent, very, very competent beer. Very nice, very nice. I shall certainly try other things by Magic Hat again. So, until the next review, oh, by the way, tell me if you've ever tried this one, the number 9, or anything by Magic Hat. Tell me what you think, see if you think my classification as an English pale ale rather than an American pale ale is correct. And like, favorite, comment, subscribe, all of the above. And I shall see you again on the next Bear Reviews. Cheers.